God bless you, family. I just want to personally tell you congratulations. You have made it to day 70 of this wonderful fast of cultivating a deeper relationship and intimacy with the Holy Spirit. For day 70, I want to do something very special, and which is to give you a teaching video while I am away in this beautiful prayer mountain, spending some time with the Holy Spirit. What I want to teach you is the key to hearing the voice of God. Beloved, in 1 Corinthians 2:11, it tells us that no man can know the thoughts of God but the Spirit of God. And in Revelation 1 verse 10, it tells us, John the Revelator said something like this. He said, on the Lord's day, I was in the Spirit, and I heard a great voice like a trumpet. These two verses gives you the key on hearing the voice of the Lord. These two verses gives you the key to knowing the thought of God. So beloved, it is possible to know the thought of God concerning your life, concerning your relationship, concerning your marriage, concerning your loved one, concerning your health, concerning your business, concerning your job. And beloved, the key is the Holy Spirit. How can you know the voice, the thought of God? It is simple, and it is done in few simple steps, and I'm going to share it with you. And what I need you to do is to practice this daily. The Bible said in the last day, I will pour out my Spirit upon all flesh. My sons and daughters, they will prophesy. Our old man will dream, your young man will see vision. So the Spirit brings us into the realms of knowing the mind of God concerning the future. And beloved, I want to tell you that you have the Holy Spirit. So how do you hear the voice of God concerning your situation? I'm going to use those two scriptures that I gave you, focusing on Revelation chapter 1:10. John said, on the Lord's day, I was in the Spirit, and I heard a great voice. On the Lord's day, I was in the Spirit, and I heard a great voice. Now, you're watching this video, and you are paying attention. You are listening intentionally and attentively. There are three main ways to hear the voice of God, or there are three components that you need to hear the voice of God. The first one is the Lord's Day. What is the Lord's Day? The Lord's Day is a day of worship. So John 1 was in a place of worship. 2, he was in the Spirit. In other words, he was praying in the Spirit, or he was reading the Word in the Spirit. But whatever he was doing it in the Spirit. But what helped him to get into that place where he was in the Holy Spirit? He was in the mind. He was no longer within his own mind, but he was in the mind of the Spirit. It is simple. As he began to worship, and as his worship began to get deeper, he found himself worshiping in spirit and in truth. So how are you going to position yourself? Begin to worship. Find a worship song that connects to your heart. Find a worship song that expresses your love to Yahweh. And as you're worshiping, begin to speak in your heavenly language. If you don't have the gift of tongues, begin to call on the name of Yeshua. And as you begin to worship and speak in tongues, have your mind on the situation you want to hear the Lord to speak to you about. And as you're doing that, be intentional in listening for the voice of God. For example, I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice. It doesn't matter the quality of your voice. He doesn't hear your voice. He hears your heart. To worship you, oh my soul, rejoice. Then begin to speak in tongues. I worship you, Yahweh. And begin to think on your situation. And say, Lord, speak to me concerning this. Speak to me according to your word. And listen. You will have a knowing suddenly. You will have a knowing suddenly. You might see a picture. You might have a thought. Or you might have great overwhelming peace. And this is how you hear the voice of God for any situation. God bless you. Go and practice this, for you're about to embark on the voice of the Lord. And remember, the key is Holy Spirit. Shalom.